Now is one Republican senator who is working on an immigration bill of his own and says he'll move forward with it regardless of what the president does. Senator Ron Johnson, a frequent guest on our program from Wisconsin, is joining us. He's also poised, by the way, to become the chairman of the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee. Staying with us is Richard Lafrac, the CEO of the Lafrac organization. And Richard and Ron, I know that both of you know each other.
Yes, we do.
So,
good morning, Richard.
How are you, Senator?
So, Senator.
Good morning, Betty.
Good morning, Senator. So let's start with immigration, because I know the Republican leadership says, look, if the president goes ahead and acts on immigration on his own, he's going to poison the well here of bipartisanship. But I got to say, I have a lot of doubts whether immigration can even pass at all.
Well, what he's really going to do, if he defers action on more immigrants, he'll increase the incentive for illegal immigration. It's going to exacerbate the problem. So what I've been saying is, as chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, what I will be doing is I will put as a top priority securing our border, which is always the first step in any immigration reform that would actually work. And so that's just got to be a top priority. But you know, I guess I'm talking a little bit more unique concept here, that I think any border security bill has to include a functioning guest worker program, because I just got a feeling that the root cause of our illegal immigration is primarily immigrants coming here trying to find work. And so let's match supply and demand for labor, and let's actually make those people legal as they're coming in here looking for work. If you do that, you reduce the number of people coming in here illegally, and it's just a whole lot easier securing the border. So it's a slightly different concept on how you actually achieve border security, what you really emphasize in that kind of bill.
But, Senator, what about the strategy here from the GOP leadership, which is to try to attach an immigration bill or immigration onto a must-pass spending bill?
Well, we'll see what we can do. I'm not quite sure how you defund the lack of action, because I think that's what President Obama is going to do. He's just not going to act to continue any deportations. He's going to defer action. I'm not quite sure how you defund that, but actually I'd be supportive of that effort, because, again, if he defers action, just like he did on the children, look at what happened. He deferred action on childhood admissions. As a result, we had children flooding to our border, creating a real humanitarian crisis. So if he defers action on more immigrants, it's going to increase the incentive. It'll increase illegal immigration. It's the wrong direction. So let's first secure the border. You know, Americans, we have to agree on that. Not only to solve the immigration problem, but what about from a standpoint of public health and safety and national security? We have to secure the border. That's the first step.
So, so Richard, he's talking about obviously deferring deportations, but what's your take on this?
Well, I'd like to ask the senator, you know, you're in a twilight period now where you're not in the majority until after the first of the year. What do you expect to accomplish between then and now? And what can you accomplish right after the first of the year to put things in front of the president for his signature, you know, immediately, so that we all can, as citizens, can see that there's some leadership coming out of the Republican side?
Well, the good news is the election prompted Harry Reid to move permitting the Keystone XL pipeline. So hopefully that can move on the president's desk very quickly. And then, Richard, what I'm trying to do, and I think what Leader McConnell's talking about doing is let's find the areas of agreement. You know, let's not ask the Democrats to violate their principles. We don't have to violate ours. Let's find the areas of agreement, things on regulatory reform. You know, repealing the medical device tax. 79 senators voted to repeal that during our budget process. Let's find the areas of agreement that help unburden the American economy. Let's get the economy growing in a robust fashion. That's how you get good paying jobs, when employers are competing for labor in a strong economy. So there's got to be plenty of areas of agreement in terms of regulatory reform that we can actually pass.
So, Senator, you just outlined several areas where you think there's agreement. What do you think has the best chance of passing? What's the best chance for bipartisanship in your view?
Well, again, we already know that repealing the medical device tax is a very harmful part of Obamacare. 79 senators voted for that. We should be able to pass that pretty easily. It looks like the Keystone XL pipeline, permitting that's going to be a good job-creating type of legislation. And then I'm not the only senator that has businesses.
I'm not sure that's an easy thing to pass, Senator.
I think it'll easily pass in the Senate. Now, whether President Obama signs it or not, I guess then the onus will be on him. Then Americans will actually see that Republicans aren't the party of no. It's President Obama, Harry Reid have pretty much been one-man parties of no.
Richard?
Well, I think that would be very exciting if we saw some forward progress, Senator. It's very encouraging.
Well,
it's what I'm dedicated to do, particularly with my committee, Homeland Security, Governmental Affairs. It's all about regulatory reform. So I'll be reaching out to my Democratic colleagues, asking them what regulations are harming businesses in your state that we can either eliminate or reform or streamline to get our economy moving in a more robust fashion.
Now, I mentioned earlier, Senator, that you're going to be poised to become the chair of the Homeland Security Committee in the Senate. So what's on your agenda?
Well, again, it's really two committees in one. Homeland Security, so the top priority there is securing our border. We have to look at cybersecurity, and I really want to help streamline the reporting requirements of DHS so that department can actually help defend this nation. And then the governmental affairs portion of that, it really is regulatory reform. We're gonna have to do the appropriate oversight as well, but I'm really going to laser in on the regulatory reform, because if you look at what's harming our economy, it's an uncompetitive tax system and it's a regulatory overburden. So my committee can really address the regulatory overburden. And again, I think there are just all kinds of examples of bipartisan common ground that we can find.
Well, when you mention governmental affairs, I mean, you have oversight basically of all federal workers, Senator. There's obviously a lot of concern among federal employees that they may see their pay cut, that their benefits cut, because you have talked about how federal workers and the federal employee system is bloated here, that there are agencies that need to be cut, that perhaps even jobs need to be cut on that front.
Well, Betty, I'm a business guy, so you always need to prioritize what your actions are. You also have to benchmark. So I don't want to underpay government or public sector workers, but we can't afford to overpay them either. So the first thing we do is we hold hearings to find out exactly what are the pay rates and the benefits of public sector versus private sector, and let's over time, on a glide path, let's make sure that those are in alignment, either higher or lower.
But does that mean cuts? That means cuts, right?
It means aligning with the private sector that basically funds all this government. So let's make sure that we're competitive. That's what you do in business. That's what we should do in the federal government. Public sector employees shouldn't expect that their pay and benefit packages would never be modified. In the private sector, you're modifying your benefit and pay packages every single year because
but they have modified them, right? But Senator, they have modified them, right?
They've frozen them.
They've frozen them.
We've had pay freezes. Think about it. That's not really not modifying. That's freezing. But again, what I would do is benchmark and make sure that we are in alignment with the private sector versus the public sector.
All right, Senator, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much, Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin.
Have a great day.
And, of course, to Richard Lefrak, thank you as well for joining us.
Thank you, Betty.
It's great to see you. It's been so long.